Welcome to Retail Fashion Business, and in this episode, we're going to talk about influencers, or what we call key opinion leaders, or KOL in business terms. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how we can work better with influencers if you have a brand. And the reason why I put this one in this episode for Retail Fashion Business is because brands work a lot with influencers, or those that are what we call celebrities, artists, and as I said, KOL, key opinion leaders, or those who have influence when it comes to the retail fashion industry. We're gonna go in depth on how you can work better with influencers, even if you're a startup brand or already, a known brand as well. A lot of work that I do for some brands here in the Philippines talks about working with influencers and how to utilize them better for a brand to make more noise. And when you make more noise, there's a lot of chance that your sales could go up. I'll give a few examples as much as I can, but I will not mention too many brands or maybe personalities regarding this. Stick with me until the end because I'm going to be sharing with you 5 set guidelines for KOLs, which is very important. And if ever you're going to get a celebrity, how to use that celebrity for endorsement deals. You ready? Let's go. So a key opinion leader or a KOL or a celebrity that aligns with a brand's image is really important because it engages the following of the brand of people that fit your target demographic. When you have a set demographic, again, you want to target a specific market. You're not selling anything to anyone. If you do that, you can sway certain target audiences that you have to make purchase decisions. A lot of people are influenced by their buying decision to buy certain brands because of people wearing them. Admit it or not, when you see, let's say like me, I would give myself an example. If I see Kanye West wearing a pair of Crocs, I would most definitely go to Crocs and look for that Crocs that he wore, or like a Birkenstock pair that he would wear. I would look for that. That's the influence that an influential person can bring. Okay, so we're gonna work on that so it can work to your advantage. The important thing here is to be able to set guidelines for KOLs because I don't want to be given set guidelines or boundaries of what I can and can't do because it hinders my creativity. So when a brand tells you, oh, can't do this, you can't do that, or don't do this, don't do that because it's not in our brand, most of the time, I end up not doing anything for the brand. You want to give them a little leeway or, a longer leash when it comes to what an influencer can post. Most of the time, KOL have their own styles on how they post photos or videos. They have their own way of presenting their content because of course, they have feed goals that, all their feeds has to look in a specific way. So you don't hold complete control as a brand. Like for example, if you're a huge brand, if you go to this micro-influencer to post something, you can force them, to hold it with their left hand or your right hand or do something with the product, but you have to give them a free hand. These are things you can do to best manage the process and ensure you get the most out of the partnership that you have. After all, working with influencers is all about having a good relationship with them. And, once your partnership with them is successful, you can work with them over and over again because you want to get a piece of their market. So number one, you want to specify format and quantity requirements. Let me explain on that. For example, if you would like your KOL to post a single photo, maybe, for example, an Instagram story, perhaps, or multiple image, or you just want them to make one video describing the product that was given to them. You specify what is the format that you want from them and how many. For example, a brand would go to me and say, hey, Antonio, would like you to do a certain post for us. We just need 2 photos and 1 video from you saying why the brand is really good. And that's the requirement. And for that, in exchange, we'll give you X amount of money in certain products. If you're agreeable to that, let's do that. That's it. It's the most basic way of, putting out there to the influencer. So that's number 1. Specify your format and quantity requirements. Number 2, set the direction. Again, you cannot control what the artist or the KOL can do, but you want to set the direction. It's like giving them a mood board of some sort of how they can execute it. So discuss the creative direction that you want because when you pick the influencer, you already know that they can fit your brand. You don't pick someone just because they're famous or what, just for the attention. If you do that, that's wrong already. Imagine you're getting the wrong influencer to do something that they don't do. Imagine getting someone to ride a bike and they don't even know how to ride a bike. Your brand already would be bashed. If you're a motorbike brand, like for example, I don't know, maybe Ducati or Harley Davidson, and you make someone who drift cars. It doesn't make sense. Discuss the creative direction with them that you envision the post to become. Again, you're not in full control here. And share keywords for the copy or the caption that they'll put. Sharing what we call a do and don't list. It's very important. What they can do, what they cannot do in that list, very important. Or like what I said, a mood board. It's very useful for you if you require specific visuals. When I get the mood board, it gives me an idea, okay, this is the type of content that they want. Okay, I'll try my best to do something similar to it, but in my own twist. It gives the KOL that idea. An example of a to-do is like emphasizing, for example, if it's a summer collection, a summer feel and feeling relaxed. And another one is feature an outdoor background with green leafy plants, perhaps, if it's an outdoory type of product. Or style using summer clothing. For example, the product needs you to wear summer clothing, then do so. But you don't wear it with a jacket, perhaps, because it will not make sense. An example of don'ts could be products only without showing your face. Most of the time, brands would want you to have a face in it. Like, for example, they don't want me to post, for example, this product and just show this without my face. Like, something like that. Because you're attaching the face to the product. That's why, girls who promote makeup hold up the makeup beside their face to show that, oh, this is what they use for their lipstick and such. Another thing that you don't want them to do is comparing it with another brand. For example, you're brand A, you don't want them to make a comparison with brand B. Oh, this is so much better than the brand B that I was using before. It's much better in terms of color. Don't make comparisons. That's another don't. Otherwise, you'd be having problems with that post. And avoid plain and maybe modern backgrounds unless it's your specifications. Tell them, for example, if your colors are blue, red, and white, don't tell them that's the colors you want them to use as background. If they use green, yellow, or pink, tell them to avoid using those colors, maybe because it's your competition's color. Those are a few examples. So you can make your do's and don'ts as an example. You can just say that this is so much better than the previous brands that I used, but without mentioning. But if you mention other brands, that's a problem. Like when you mentioned brand A and then you said that you're now using brand B and this is so much better. It's like you're destroying another brand. In the end, the influencer could be canceled because of that, just because they're paid. So it doesn't look and feel authentic. So just focus on the product, not comparing with another product. Para wala ring issue talaga, di ba? Number 3, request tags or hashtags or using specific keywords. It's very important. So request tags or hashtag, like hashtag something movement, whatever, or the blank team. This one depends on your creativity, how viral you want to get. You want to use short hashtags for that. You want to ask the KOL or the influencer to include related tags or hashtags for it to be easier to be seen. Hashtags, it's like an online file of facts in a library. When you want something, you're looking for something, use a certain hashtag and that's people look for in a brand. And if you have any of those, it would be a great way for people to see what you offer to a much more global audience. Hashtags are a very good way to complete certain posts, and tags would be a great way to link back to your brand as a way to increase your followers. And that's one of the reasons, again, why you're using influencers. For example, you're a startup brand with only 1,000 followers. The best way to get an attention is for you to use influencers who have, very good following. Doesn't matter if they only have 5,000 followers or 10,000 or 100,000. It depends on how active the followers are of the KOL. And that's why influencers, like Ronaldo, for example, are charging millions just for a single post. Or like Kim Kardashian charged, I think, almost $1 million for a single post. It's just because of what value you're getting out of them. Most especially if it's related to their interests. So just be careful in choosing your influencers. So that's number 3. Request tags and hashtags for them to use. Number 4, share past examples. And this applies if you've already done this in the past, once before, or you could use, other brands as an example. But I would avoid doing that. But I would rather you showing what an example of, again, a good one and a bad example at the same time. Sharing references that you like very much from the KOL's past posts would be an easier way to show what you want to achieve. So for example, if you want to get me as influencer for your product, look into my feed and see which post do you think you would like me to do, because I could probably replicate that. If you want me to show a photo of me holding the product right next to my face, and I've done that before, then do that. If you want me sitting down, chilling with the product that I had before and you want me to do the same, let me know. You're already looking at the influencer because they've done it already in the past. Most likely, they could do that for your brand as well. And that's why you want to share past examples that they have. And lastly, you want to set a posting date. Now, this is very critical. A lot of brands send products to me without telling me when I should post it. And sometimes I post in advance and I'm ahead of the release date. So for example, a brand sends me a product and then they don't tell me today's March and then I'm supposed to post it on April 1. But I'm too excited and I post it on March. Now there's a leak. Now you have a problem because you're too advanced and it's leaked and it's bad look for the brand. This can be very useful if you have an advertising campaign, a product launch date so that everyone knows about it. Brands do a very good job in doing that, especially in electronics. They do a good job in sharing the reviews of products on the day of the official release so that it gets so much hype all at the same time. So it's very noisy. And other KOLs can post this to be able to align to the brand as well. The right timing can maximize the strength of a campaign or a project by reinforcing the message through multiple channels in synergy. For example, you have 5 influential people in YouTube, you have 20 TikTok influencers, you have people in Instagram, and you have key opinion people in Facebook, and you have bloggers. And then you tell them all to post it on March 22, for example, all at the same day at a certain hour. Imagine how noisy it will become, how trending your brand will become when you release a product, when you have all of them doing it all at the same time. So that's the power that an influencer can do for your brand. And Apple does a very good job in doing that as a brand. Samsung as well. Electronics has a good way of doing that. And now I've seen car manufacturers do that. When they make a release, all the influential people when it comes to cars, they get all those. Now it's the same always with fashion. They send out goods early on to the influencers and they tell them to post it at a certain date. And then during that date, everyone posts all at the same time. And what happens? Massive hype. That's the importance of setting a posting date, which is the last one, number 5. After that, let's work on the celebrity endorsement, which is, a bonus topic for me to share with you here. So celebrity endorsements is often used by luxury brands. Most often, luxury brands or high-end fashion brands use celebrity endorsements to create a connection between the brands or the products and the customers or their clients. There are typically 2 ways that celebrities are used here. You can put so many, like if you look at makeup brands, they use so many celebrity names. Like Gal Gadot is one of my favorites when it comes to makeup. She's being shown most of the time. Jennifer Lopez has been used a lot of times for brands as well. And like all the most influential rappers today are being used by high-end fashion brands as well. Like case in point, for example, Travis Scott perhaps. A$AP Rocky, I would say, is a very good example of that for a male celebrity that's being used properly for celebrity endorsement. But number 1, they're being used mainly as the face of the brand. Being the face of the brand tells that you're going in the same direction that you want to be at together with the influencer. With the big name or the big influence that a person has, let's just say, for example, A$AP Rocky is a very good influence in the industry. You put them together with your brand, all together, it makes your brand a lot bigger than it is. All advertising done for the brand or product will use the face of a celebrity or the KOL with the celebrity acting as what we call a muse, M-U-S-E. When you use a person to personify your brand, you're going all in with them. For example, you're going in a long-term contract with them to use them for the next 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years as the face of the brand. Using them as the face of the brand could work really well for you if executed really well. And sometimes they don't work well if used wrongly. When you get a celebrity endorsement, they have to be all in with your brand. It cannot be that, it looks like they're just paid. For example, you want them to use this certain brand of shoes and you made them as a face and you see them posting another brand at the same time during your current deal. What does it make them look like? It's a bad look. And it happens a lot with a lot of, for example, basketball players. When they're with one brand and then you see them with another brand, it's a big deal. And it sparks rumors like, oh, he's probably moving to this other brand. That's why he's wearing that. Number 2, celebrity sponsoring. It means that celebrities will endorse a certain product or collection, like one entire collection that they will release, and usually through a pre-arranged agreement that they have with the brand. So sponsoring can influence fans or fans of the celebrity to join your brand's community or even further make them purchase. Like for example, maybe with Fila that they have partnership with BTS. Any product that BTS comes up with together with Fila, pandemonium. You know, the BTS army would be swarming everywhere when it comes to whatever they release, and most likely it's going to be close to sold out, if not sold out most of the time. That's the strength of a celebrity endorsement, what it can get for you. And you don't need to reach deep into your pockets. You can always work on an X deal perhaps. I've worked a lot with X deals with so many brands that they've just given me so much product, their entire product line, even for my wife as well, for her to use. But sometimes, you know, an X deal would mean that it's really an authentic partnership because the person really likes the product that they're given. It feels more seamless rather than forced onto you that you're paid to smoke a cigarette just because, you know, you're being paid hundreds of thousands just to promote a product. Just be careful of who you choose, because if they're not a right fit for your brand, your team has to agree that this is the right person for the job to promote your product. Because it's like this, you have someone in the mall flying your product. Do you want someone who doesn't look well to represent your brand do that for you? Of course not. You want someone representing your brand really well. That's the importance of an endorsement for the people to represent your brand so that your products look good. So that's how you work with influencers so that the brand aligns with your brand's image overall, and most likely your target market would actually swayed into purchasing your product. So if you purchased a product recently, let me know in the comment section which product it is and who influenced you to buy that product. I'd be happy to know more about it.